Hello, this is Hot Indonesia, and welcome to all of you watching us in Hanoi. I'm Dalton Tanonak in Jakarta, and here is this week's HI Hotlist. Second chance. Does a convicted child molester deserve a post-prison career? Game changer, the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks in the U.S. How did they impact Indonesia and the world? And bike likes. Is the boom in recreational cycling merely for social media status? Here are my co-hosts. Sandrina Malakiano is Deputy CEO of Polmark Indonesia, finally back in her home in South Tangerang, and Millie Lukito, CEO of the Mobiliari Group, from her home in Jakarta. Hot topic number one, second chance. He was a popular Dandut singer and had been married to another star artist. But in 2017, Saipul Jamil was convicted of molesting a 17-year-old boy. After serving 5 years of an 8-year sentence, Saipul was released last week and immediately made TV appearances and revealed other job offers. The backlash was also immediate, with petitions and protests against his return to the spotlight. By the way, Saipul was also convicted of trying to bribe a district court clerk. Okay, ladies, he served his time, and the head of the prison said Saipul was a changed man. First to you, Millie. Doesn't he deserve a second chance at life at the relatively young age of 41?
Well, Dalton, sexual abuse victims, they suffer a permanent psychological damages. No second chances for them. It's permanent. These include depression, stress disorder, anxiety, and most often lead to suicides. So sexual offenders commit a criminal and also immoral act, which, in my opinion, needs to be dealt with very seriously by the government. No second chances, and don't give him any other opportunities other than going back to jail.
Why? He served his time. The judges pronounced a sentence, and he served his time. Now, okay, maybe he should have been a little more low-key when he got out about his plans after serving his time. Now, Sandrina, is it because, and I guess that's what Millie is saying, is it because of the type of crime he committed that raised the protests? I mean, if he had robbed a bank or stolen a car, would there be less resistance?
Dalton, the problem is caused by the fact that he is a public figure. That is the main issue here. Someone who appears a lot in medias, who have fans and social media followers, who is seen as a role model by many. If we talk about the type of crime, look at the public reaction against KPK's plan to recruit former corruptors as ambassadors to promote anti-corruption. The public immediately also showed protest, and a petition against this plan was also immediately made. So the question is, should we still punish Saiful Jamil? Give him a social sanction after he has been released from prison, which means he has served his time, as you mentioned, even though he got like 3 years of remission, or he got a lot of remission. 30 months. So this is not merely a technical matter of law enforcement or procedures. This relates to the social responsibility that public figures have as their part of the society. Like it or not, public figures like Saiful Jamil, have social responsibilities to become good role models as they become the orientation of public behavior of the people around them, their followers, their fans. So placing Saiful Jamil as a celebrity who deserves a massive and positive media coverage after he was released from prison is seriously wrong.
Okay, well, maybe the argument should be against the judicial system, not him. I mean, if he had served 10 years or 15 years, is that better? I mean, he got out, he didn't break out of jail. He got out of jail, served his time. Millie, don't you believe in redemption and forgiveness? I mean, I don't know the man, but society makes you pay a penalty for your sins, and then you get to move on with your life.
No, because this type of offense, the victims, they will suffer forever. So
no, I understand that. And maybe, and I hope the victim has moved on also. 17 at the time, now an adult. So what should
there will never?
What should Saipul
victims don't move on.
What should Saipul do? Should he maybe create a program or say, now I want to help victims of sexual abuse or this?
I think it will be better. I think because he is an influencer, like Sandrina said, so he can actually use his brand equity, if you may, to do good and to help victims of sexual abuse victims, instead of going to from television station to television stations and making money for himself.
Well, he's got to live. I mean, what do you want him to say? No, okay, I want to go back to jail because the public doesn't like me out. Of course, he's not going to do that.
No, but use his influence to do good, redeem himself, not only serving his time, but dedicate the rest of his life helping sexual abuse victims.
I don't know the man personally, but society makes you pay a penalty for your legal sin, and then you get to move on with your life.
Yeah, but the problem is sexual abuse victims, they cannot move on because there is no second chances for them. The damage is permanent. So it's good for Saiful Jamil as an influencer to dedicate the rest of his life to help victims, sexual abuse victims.
But I don't know other ex-inmates who do that. Why just him? Why not tell an ex-bank robber, okay, do on a program to tell people not to rob banks? No one says that to them.
Because they're not public figures like Saiful Jamil. And the approach they gave him when he was released from prison, he was treated like a star, a celebrity. That is so out of place, Dalton.
Yeah, it's insensitive, and like I said, he should have been perhaps low-key when he got out.
Yeah, and I think, what Saiful Jamil should do is accept the fact that every action has its own consequences. If he wants to return and rebuild his career in the music or film industry, he has to be patient enough to undergo a process of transition, which may be long and difficult. He has to accept the fact that it will take time for the public in general to accept him back, if that is even possible. What he should do is, like Millie said, sincerely, genuinely express his remorse, admit his sins, and deeply apologize to the public, and not only in words, but in actions, by proving in time that he has changed, doing a lot of good so that he can earn the public's acceptance.
Well, you got to blame also then the TV outlets and other content producers who rushed to him. And if nobody went to him, he wouldn't have that platform, right?
This is where the censorship by the KPI will be most relevant.
Yeah, and already many TV stations said they apologized, they pulled his programs. And
Dalton, I salute people like Angga Sasongko from Visinema, a film producer, who decided to firmly take stance and cut all cooperations with TV stations who air Visinema's productions, because those TV stations have given Saiful such an unacceptable celebrity treatment. Or, for example, comedian, writer, actor, movie director Ernest Prakasa, who also has clearly stated his disappointment towards those TV stations. So that was also a wake-up call for the TV stations to be more sensitive, also to KPI, who are also facing their own problems right now with the internal matter like sex abuse case they are facing right now.
Yeah, no, I'm sure, of course, if it were my son or daughter or friend's son or daughter who got molested, I would surely be less sympathetic. But in this case, again, the legal system played out and he followed the legal system. Too much of the blame is going on this individual. He paid his price for his crime, but now it's the external world who's propping him up and giving him parades, and perhaps that is the problem, in our society today. It's such a social media and publicity conscious world. Okay, Hot Indo will continue shortly with Game Changer, how 9/11 made the world a different place.
Oh my God, there it goes! Glenn, come on, Glenn, you can do it!
to Foodipedia. Every week in this program, I will introduce you to one of Indonesia's fabulous food items. Yummy. Beautiful. Now, I'm ready to cook. Let's go to the kitchen. It's done. Let's meet to eat.
Foodipedia on the Indonesia Channel.
I'm Trần Minh Ngân of VCCTV Net Việt in Hanoi.
I'm Thairat Thomya of Thailand's Thairat TV in Bangkok.
I'm Monica Sambodet from the National Television of Cambodia in Phnom Penh.
I'm Raymond Go of Malaysia's TV3 in Kuala Lumpur.
I'm Glenda Chong of Singapore's Channel News Asia.
I'm Raisa Chantami of the Indonesia channel at the ASEAN Secretariat in Jakarta.
This is your weekly look into the dynamic Southeast Asia region.
ASEAN Today on the Indonesia Channel.
You are watching Hot Indonesia with Sandrina, Millie, and me. Hot topic number 2, game changer.
We better get out of the way!
September 11, 2001, 4 coordinated attacks in the U.S. by the Al-Qaeda terrorist group killed nearly 3,000 people and changed the world. Security measures at airports and other public facilities would be permanently tightened. Most governments around the world condemned the attacks. Hate crimes against Muslims spiked. The U.S. soon would invade Iraq. Now, it's one of those events that we all remember where we were at that moment. It was dinner time here in Indonesia on a Tuesday night. Millie, where were you and how did this country react?
Well, I was in Jakarta at that time, and of course, watching television stations, I was very, very shocked, because the US at that time, and also the world collectively, I remember, that was quite after the long period of Cold War, and the Cold War has ended in the 80s, and the US somehow was thought to be a winner of the war. So everybody, and I'm sure, of course, in the US, they were horribly shocked to have experienced a massive attack on its soil. But however, the immediate creation, remember the Transportation Security Agency, I think, then they begin to inspect us, our luggage, our credentials, and those things actually have changed the way we travel and the way air travel actually behave. And in a way, of course, it has made air travels that much more safer until today.
Yeah, people say it's inconvenient, but safety first. Now, Sandrina, you were working at the country's first news channel and held down coverage for most of that evening. What are your most vivid memories?
I can still clearly remember. I just finished delivering the evening primetime news. I was in the newsroom when I was called by the news producer to quickly return to the studio for a breaking news. All we knew at that time, Dalton, was what was aired on CNN. That a plane crashed into one of the Twin Towers in Lower Manhattan. There were only questions at that moment. So many questions. Was it an accident? How could something like that happen? How could a plane crash into a high-rise building like that? How many casualties? Then the facts were collected while we were on the air. And things became clear after the second plane crashed into the other tower, that it was a coordinated terrorist attack. Then the plane that crashed into the Pentagon building and the plane crash in Pennsylvania followed afterwards. I was on the air for about 9 hours, if I'm not mistaken. It was so horrifying, hard to believe what was happening, especially when we all saw the Twin Towers just collapse and crumble to the ground one by one like that. Like those buildings had no structure. Two iconic landmarks just gone.
One incredible event after the other. And I think you both remember I was with CNN at that time. And At that moment of the first crash, my program was on the air here in Asia, but it was a recorded program. We had done it live at 6 and then at 8:30 it reruns. So we immediately cut from the recorded program, went to New York, and never came back to Hong Kong for months. And that is one of the indirect reasons why I'm here in Indonesia now. And that's another story. The next day I was sent to Tokyo to get reaction from America's top trading partner at the time. And here's a little bit of that coverage.
Dalton Tananake is standing by live in Tokyo with reaction to the tragedy there. Dalton?
Jim, as you might expect, as everywhere else, the attacks remain numbing to Japanese. The news of the attacks, especially sensitive because of the references to Pearl Harbor that they've been hearing on coverage in the U.S. Now, Prime Minister Junichiro Koizumi said he was outraged over the attacks and ordered his cabinet to take or tighten up anti-terrorism measures and take appropriate steps to reassure financial markets. But of course, the human element is foremost. The government assisting in efforts to locate the missing Japanese workers who worked in the Twin Towers.
I then filed a couple more reports from Tokyo, but then all coverage from Asia pretty much suspended as the focus was in New York and then, of course, the Middle East. Indonesia's president at the time was Megawati Soekarno-Putri. She condemned the attacks. What I want to know is how were average Indonesians reacting at that time? First to you, Sandrina.
You know, it didn't just hit the American people, it hit all of us worldwide. The whole world was shocked when the 9/11 tragedy occurred, and Indonesia is no exception. From what I understood and followed during those times, the Indonesian public strongly condemned the attacks. Indonesians in general showed empathy and expressed their sympathies for the American people who were hit by the unbelievably massive terrorist attacks. But of course, you know, some sort of speculations arise, including speculations expressed by those who believed in the conspiracy theory. There were those who questioned how is it possible that a super advanced intelligence they had in America did not in any way manage to detect the possibility of those massive attacks before they actually happened. There were also hardcore extreme Muslim groups who believed that the US have been for long so unfriendly towards Islam, and that they speculated America was actually using those attacks to disgrace the face of Islam. But in general, most Indonesians were sympathetic, Dalton, and could feel the pain the American people endured. And Indonesia fully supports the global fight against terrorism.
I didn't do this bit of research, but were there any Indonesians in the Twin Towers? Did anybody? There were?
Yes. A friend of mine actually lost her brother.
Okay. So what did you talk about? Did you call friends, Millie, that evening? Did you get together? Did you immediately? I mean, what was your personal reaction, Millie?
Yeah. At that time, I heard that this friend lost her brother. Her brother was on the plane from Boston to New York, and that plane was the one that hit the World Trade Center. So I called my friend, and of course, you know, it was very tragic. And I think in the business community, then it also formed a bit of a feeling of destabilization of what is the next, let's say, the next coming month or the next year will be, and how the world will be shaped after that. A lot of fear, and the mood at that time was very, very one that is very somber and dark, I think.
Yeah, and it's still being felt to this day. Commemoration events in New York will be held this weekend, and at all 3 attack sites, President Joe Biden will lead each one. More Hot Indo is ahead. Bike lights, is pedal pushing just a social media trend?
I'm Caitlin Turner, and welcome to Yoga Bliss.
wrapping your hands to the mat, just step it back and out and up to the sky. Up through your fingertips. Reach your right hand back behind your head. Let your hands separate forward and then start.
Yoga Bliss, only on the Indonesia Channel.
What's up, iPoppers? It's me, Ardina Glenda, and you are watching iPop Playlist.
Marilah berlari, hey, 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 hey. Semuanya perasaan, rasa cinta ku persembahkan untukmu di dalam lubuk hatiku. Tolong lihat aku dan jawab pertanyaanku.
Ditunggu, bagaimana dengan pacarku? Ku tak mau selingkuh
Denganmu ku temukan cahaya hati.
iPop on the Indonesia Channel.
You're watching Hot Indonesia from Jakarta. Hot topic number 3, bike likes. Now, you see it on your feeds every day. Images of groups or individuals on high-end bicycles in high-fashion athletic attire. Now, I'm not talking about your Sunday car-free day family riders. Is this trend about getting exercise or getting social media likes and retweets? Now, Millie, not referring to you, help me on this one. You're a bicyclist. Tell me if that's not what you're seeing on your feeds.
Yes, I have to admit, Dalton. So it's all of the above. Social media exposure, yes. Fashion, yes. And cool bikes, investment, yes. So it's all of the above. But at the same time, what else to do nowadays except going outdoors and have a little bit of fun, a healthy fun. But bicycling, this is a very expensive sport, Dalton.
Yeah, if you buy the expensive bike. I mean, you can buy a cheap one at Carrefour and you can go doing your car-free Sundays. Now, I think what gives away most of the posers, as opposed to people who are truly wanting exercise, which is a good thing, and I agree with you, Millie, exercise should be your goal. What gives the posers away are the regular postings of them on their biking outings, like every week. How many pictures can you see of someone riding the same bike, wearing the same helmet? Should I chill out, Sandrina?
You know, Dalton, I remember the debate between several figures who criticized Jakarta's governor, his decision to provide bike paths along several Jakarta public roads. They said, what's the use of providing bike paths that can only be used during weekends or on public holidays? Then Governor Anies Baswedan explained that there are two types of bicycle riders in Jakarta. First, those who ride bikes to build a community base on communal hobbies or active in social media type of people, and those who use bicycles as their daily means of transportation. The first group of cyclists are the ones who care a lot about trendy costumes and high-end bike accessories. Those from the second group actually use their bicycles as a cheap and healthy choice of transportation.
Well, the bad thing is the first group is bigger than the second group.
You know, I have a very good friend, singer-songwriter Noogie. He goes everywhere on his bike. So, Dalton, it depends actually. Which group do you want to join? Cycling as a hobby and using it to exist on social medias, or cycling as a chosen mean of transportation? For the latter, you don't need to dress up. You just need to wear something comfortable and adhere to safety protocols. But you know, the most important thing is no matter which group you are in, safety comes first.
Yeah, safety.
But there are the coffee peddlers on bikes, you know. And those guys, they don't wear helmets and no fashion here. And their bicycles, sometimes the wheel are not uniform. You know, one smaller one bigger one, but they always win the race. They are always cycling faster than those road bikers.
Yeah, and Millie, I want to join your bicycling club one day. I mean, you look great, but also you guys are there for exercise, right?
Right, of course.
Okay, I have owned many bicycles in my lifetime, but you will see me in a t-shirt and shorts, pedaling as fast as the ducks by the lake. That's about as fast as I go. Okay, more feedback now on our Minamata movie discussion. You remember that a week or two ago? Danny said this on our YouTube page. Our wonderful film with a wonderful Johnny Depp, a must-see. And Faisal posted this on the YouTube page of our partner TV1. The government uses bureaucracy to make money, not to better people's lives. It's only a side job to them. Here's how to contact us with your feedback. Email at hotindo@theindonesiachannel.com or comment through our Hot Indonesia or Indonesia Channel Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube pages. Final word, Sandrina.
When we returned from the United States, my family and I had to go into a mandatory quarantine in a hotel in Jakarta. As soon as the quarantine period was over, when I was on my way home, I felt so relieved and grateful just to be able to breathe fresh air, being outdoors. The traffic jam didn't even bother me at all. I was just enjoying the freedom and being ever so grateful to be able to return home again. Something that I really have been looking forward to after being cooped up for 8 days, 7 nights in a room with no access to any outdoor activities. Couldn't even go to the corridor. So I learned a very important lesson. Quarantine reminded me to highly appreciate everything, my freedom, my family and friends, the air that I breathe. If we look around and realize that we could lose all that in just a nick of time, this could really change the way we view life. Never take anything in life for granted.
Final words, Millie.
Well, my final word is I'm actually pondering on going to the US. But I'm still cautious of the experience, the impacts. Should I do this, you know, with the PCR and the long hours? So my question to all of you, should I do it or should I wait?
And let's hear from everybody on that. And my final words now. Congratulations to the Indonesia Paralympics team winning 9 gold medals in Tokyo, including 2 golds in badminton. This was the best performance ever by the Merah Putih since its first participation in 1976 and the first golds in 41 years. And that is Hot Indonesia for this week. For Sandrina Malikiano and Millie Lukito, I'm Dalton Tanonaka in Jakarta. Thank you very much for watching. Please join us again next time.